This is going to be a quick video just talking about the top 7 items as far as kayak safety goes. These items I never leave home without. Anytime I'm out on the water, I always have these with me. Whether you or someone you know are new to kayak fishing, if you don't have one of these items that I'm about to cover, I highly recommend getting one before your next kayak fishing adventure. It just might save your life. And even if you've been kayak fishing for a while and you don't have one of these, you should definitely get one. And everything you see in this video, I'll have a link to down in the description. So let's start off with the first thing that's probably the most obvious thing and most talked about. That's PFDs, personal flotation device. I like to have this one because it's a nice bright color. It helps you be seen out there by fellow kayakers and fellow boaters. And some people may say, oh, well, I could swim to shore. I don't necessarily need a PFD. I'm a good swimmer. But let me just tell you firsthand, you never know what's going to happen out there. And this particular PFD is made by NRS. This is the NRS Chinook. And I've had this thing for many years now, at least 3 or 4 years, taking it out in the water, probably hundreds of times throughout those years. I mean, as you can see, it's quite faded. Definitely not as bright orange as it was when I first got it, but other than that, this thing has been great. No issues to speak of. Second item is this Farmer John wetsuit, also made by NRS. NRS makes a lot of great kayak gear. And I've personally tried a few other like knockoff brands for these Farmer John wetsuits, and honestly I think it's worth the money to spend a little bit more on this NRS one if you're going to be doing a lot of fishing. This one just fits way more snug. It keeps you warm. It's not, I don't know, the other ones just don't fit very well. And on top of that, all the zipper is great. The knees have extra material right here to prevent any holes, and all the seams and everything have really stood up to the test of time. The only maintenance I really do is just wash it off after every trip out into the salt water. And yeah, honestly, this one kind of still looks brand new, even though I've had it for a couple of years now. Rapid fire through the next few here. This is just a little manual bilge pump, just in case your kayak springs a leak or somehow water gets into the hull of your kayak. You know, all the kayaks that I have are sit on top kayaks. There's also sit inside kayaks, which are a little bit different. But for the most part, as far as fishing goes at least, most people are using sit on top kayaks. And what that means is there's a hole inside, they're hollow. So if that happens to fill up with water, the easiest way to get that water out, at least the majority of it, is with one of these bilge pumps. Also a VHF radio. If you have any fishing with buddies, you can talk to them through this. And if you, on the unfortunate case, have to call Coast Guard for some type of rescue, Channel 16, at least here in the Bay Area, I don't know if that's worldwide, you can get a hold of them really quickly with this. Next up, we have a whistle. Like I mentioned earlier, sometimes other kayakers or other boaters, mainly boaters is what you're concerned about, are unaware of their surroundings, unfortunately. And so if you have to get their attention, whether it's to help you with a rescue or to just let them know that you're there, this whistle is the easiest and most practical thing. It's super cheap. I mean, it's like $10. You just clip it onto your PFD and it's always there for you when you need it. And actually, this whistle has a little compass on it, which is my next item. If you don't have a whistle with a compass, just get a little manual handheld compass. I know most of you out there who have fishing kayaks will have some type of GPS, whether it be on your phone or a little fish finder / GPS. Those are great, but just an off chance that, you know, your batteries are dead, let me tell you, if you fish enough, there's going to be some point in your fishing career when all the batteries are dead. So having one of these compasses could help you tell direction in the off chance you don't have any battery. And the reason for compasses, especially in the ocean, is sometimes it gets super foggy out there. And when it's foggy, you have no idea, like your just sense of direction is totally messed up because in every direction, there's no landmarks, it's just fog. So having this, being able to tell which way is north and south, again, could save your life. And then the last one is just carrying one of these paddles. So nowadays, most fishing kayaks are not don't have paddle propulsion, is that the right word? Aren't propelled by a paddle, I guess you could say. Most of them either have pedals or motor, stuff like that. And in my case, at least with this kayak, my newest kayak, it has a motor and pedals. Most trips, I don't have to, this stays in the holder the whole time. And the batteries are great, but sometimes either one thing, maybe you forgot to charge it, or you thought you were charging it but didn't get a full charge, or maybe a connection failed while you're out on the water. And if that happens when you're out, you could be out 1, 2, 3 miles offshore. And what are you going to do then? That's where this paddle comes in. It's your final mode of propulsion. Don't need any batteries for this. All you just need is a couple of stronger arms, I guess you could say. And a side note, as I always tell people, it's always good to paddle every once in a while just to make sure you can still do it, because you don't want the first time that you paddled in 2 to 3 years to be when you're out 3 miles offshore and the wind's picking up and going against the current, all that stuff. You want to make sure you know how to paddle before you need to. So again, if there's anything that you saw here that you don't have for your kayak, I highly recommend getting it before your next adventure. You know, kayak fishing can be a lot of fun, as you've seen in most of my videos. I've had a lot of fun out there, but it can also be dangerous if you get caught in the wrong situation without the right equipment. And like I said before, everything you see in this video I'll have linked down in the description. Anything you buy through those links will help support the channel. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you out on the water.